Hello, RWorld, and welcome back to another episode of RWorldTalk. We have your 2023 Secretary, incoming 2024 Treasurer, Miss Monica Hands, with us this morning. Good morning, Monica.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
It's my first time here. I'm super excited to be here.
First time here.
Thank you.
For you guys who don't know, me and Monica are actually neighbors, so we go way back. We know each other well.
Yeah, me, you and Kenny.
Yeah, and Kenny as well.
A couple streets away.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your new appointment.
Thank you.
We're excited to see all the good things that you're going to do in 2024.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great year. I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, even though there's going to be some, bumps in the road, but I think there's a bright future ahead.
There's definitely a bright future ahead, especially with you behind our finances, making sure that our money's being spent wisely.
Well, when you paved a big path for us, and big shoes to fill. So we're gonna look forward to enhancing what you've done for our association. And again, big shoes to fill, but we're looking forward to it.
Thank you for that. You guys are going to do exceptionally well. I'm certainly excited. Why don't you tell us? Obviously, you got involved in the association as a leader quite some time ago. Actually, I remember you and I ran against each other back in 2017. We were running for a corporate board seat back like pre-mergers. This was like Greater Fort Lauderdale days.
But I think even prior to that, we were, I think we first met and served together on the candidate screening.
Yep.
And in government affairs too. But I think that was kind of our first, interaction together, first time working together. And here we are. It's probably been at least 10 years since then, because I think it was probably 14, 15.
It was a while back when we first started serving.
Yeah.
So what got you involved? What influenced your decision to become a leader in the association?
Well, I started doing real estate in 2004, so I was 24 years old. I started actually in Cape Coral, Florida, even though I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, went to Florida State, moved back to Fort Lauderdale, and began my real estate career over on the West Coast in Cape Coral in 2004.
Okay.
The industry was, it was, great at the time. It went through a little bit of a downturn, obviously. That was the, the REOs, the startup of all the REOs. But I ended up coming back to Fort Lauderdale in 2007, joined the Greater Fort Lauderdale Realtors at that time. And I remember there was an email that went out about the committee sign up. Okay. And I remember the government affairs came up, and in high school I was in government affairs. I minored in political science at Florida State. So always had some interest in the, in those two fields. So when I saw the opportunity to join the committee, I did and fell in love with it right away. And then I think it was either the first or second meeting we had, they started talking about Great American Realtor Days, which would be back in Tallahassee. Obviously, right. I went to school. So that was definitely, inspiring to be on the committee for that. But once you're there, it's even more inspiring to be around our fellow, local leaders and see what an impact we have with them.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of impact that we do truly have. And we see it firsthand when we go to Great American Realtor Days, but also just in our local municipalities when we can go and sit down with one of our elected officials and just talk about what might be happening in our city. You and I do it in Pompano Beach. Definitely. Advocacy is like the lifeblood of our organization. So to make sure that our members are staying involved and active in the political process is so incredibly important.
It's super important. I think being involved with the Government Affairs Committee back then, and even, obviously now, you really see the synergy and how much parallel public policy politics and what we do as realtors run hand in hand, right? And they run parallel to each other. And, being able to establish great, relationships with our community leaders, our local leaders, and, they run the city, we sell the city. So that, that combination and, is really great. And I've really enjoyed seeing, between even before a merger and with our merger, how much we've maintained those relationships and how much we've been cultivating them through the years. And as you know, there's a lot of great relationships out there. So it's a great thing to see.
So political science major at FSU, and then you also went on to study at NSU, correct?
I did. So I graduated, again, in 2002 from Florida State with an undergrad in English literature, minored in communications and political science. Okay. And then when I moved back to Fort Lauderdale, when the market was a little soft, I decided, if I'm going to get my master's, I might as well do it now. So I remember hearing the NSU had a real estate development master's program, master in science program. Mm-hmm. So I figured now is as good a time as ever. I just, I was a little bit slower, but as soon as I started school there in 2018, I got 2000, in 2008. So from 2008 to 2010 is when I attended Nova Southeastern.
Okay.
And that's when I was super busy with real estate. I started REOs, and it was probably my busiest years in real estate. So
And you were getting a degree at the same time.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'm slow now. It's easy. Let's do this. And once, as anyone that's taken that type of program, you can't just stop and then, go back the next semester, because they all kind of run it on a 18-month schedule. So, but it was a great experience, and I take a lot of what I've learned, into what I do now, into what I do with the board. So it was a really great experience. And even though it was super tough, up late nights, early mornings, but I definitely learned a lot, and it definitely helped shape who I am today.
All worth it in the end.
Yeah.
So what kind of significance is serving on the executive board? What does that mean to you to be serving there? You've got all the knowledge, obviously, political science background, which helps with our advocacy efforts, and then also real estate development, a master's in real estate development. Yeah, obviously, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So how do you take that experience into the executive team?
I think, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. Just my love of real estate. If anyone gets to know me pretty well, I'm a real estate dork. I get to sit and talk to you about it all day. So I just love learning and love knowing about it, and sharing that knowledge, not only with agents that I know, but, clients and customers that we work with. Right. So that's been really great, but just being able to see how much the association has grown and be, at the forefront of our industry. We understand the issues, the concerns, and the successes that our industry has, and from the local, state, and national level, and to be a part of that, and to share that, and to help spread, those victories and those successes, to our members, is such a great thing. And, I think what I've also learned being on the board, especially exec, is, you're with the best and the brightest in the industry. So it's, it's challenging, everyone's such, it's high caliber. So it's great to be around people that share in your interests for the industry and our association. And again, being around the best and the brightest.
Well, we're very happy to have you on the team. And like I said, when we started this all off, I'm excited to see what you're going to bring to the table, because obviously you're one of the best and the brightest with your background for sure.
Thank you.
So apart from your RWorld leadership role, you recently merged offices with the incomparable Christine Hansen, who's going to be our next NAR president one day. Have you had any challenges during that merger? How do you think that what you've learned can contribute to you as a leader to endure the challenges that we've had ahead?
Well, I think, Christine and I go way back. When I first started with the association here, I knew of her. We've always, been friendly and worked together with, from the leadership standpoint, from Florida Realtors, NAR, and so forth. And, her office is right down the street from where I grew up in North Angeles Gardens. Her office is on Bayview and Commercial. So known the office for years. So it was such a pleasure to, talk to her. We put this merger together, and it's really been great. It's, it has its challenges, and the biggest things are logistics, right? Changing emails, going through things with the agents, helping them through it, and helping them understand what the successes of this are. And it's really, and we both knew, and we, it was amazing to see it, but we both knew that our agents would blend well, mesh well, work well. And it's been wonderful to see that come together. And just, I think more just logistics, and, seeing how, all those little things that you don't really think about are important, are super important, so, but just working through that. And of course, she understands what I do on the local level from leadership. I certainly admire everything she's doing for our national association. I mean, she's quite the traveler these days.
Right.
She is, I can say she's she's beloved all around the country. And I say that endearingly, because when people see her, I mean, she knows everybody, but everybody loves her. So that she's paved a really positive trail through the years with her leadership roles, both at the local, state, and national level.
I bet lots of gifts show up at your office.
Yeah, she gets lots of gifts, t-shirts, from all different, and she's always, I'm in Texas today, I'm in, Idaho today, I'm in California. So, but again, they love her, and it's just amazing to see all the endorsements she's getting, all the support she's getting, and being a part of that is just, it's an amazing experience.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure that even though you guys have known each other for a long time, when two people are trying to run a business together, there's always going to be some ups and downs, and learning how one person prefers to do something over the other one prefers to do something. I know that I've had those challenges myself with my own business partners, just getting through the little nuances of, they don't like it when I send the email that way.
Yeah, maybe I'll send it another time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've actually, it's, it's definitely, there's, been the things I've learned, she's taught me to, if I'm gonna, we're all busy, right? So she's like, if you're gonna take on one thing, you have to take one thing off your plate. She tells me not to overthink things. So it's nice to have a different point of view sometimes,
Right.
because when you are running your company, or you're the main person, right? You don't really have somebody checking you all the time. And I personally like that, because I've never really had that before, right? I mean, I think maybe a lot of, even agents don't have that, right? Because us being independent contractors. So,
Keeps you focused, keeps you grounded.
Keeps me focused, keeps me grounded, but keeps the energy up, because she's like, hey, what about this idea? What about this idea? So, having that energy level and always being able to have somebody to bounce ideas off of and energize, to look into the future and help shape our industry is, that's been the best part. But, any of the little challenges like that, it's definitely something, I look forward to, because I think it only helps shape you and makes you think like, well, if someone else is saying that, that's probably true. And it's okay to have somebody else check you, because at the end of the day, they're only doing it to help you, and then obviously help the company down the road too.
Right. So obviously, when we're in the roles that we're in, especially in executive leadership, because you basically double up on your meetings. So you go from when you're on a committee, you're one meeting a month, and then you're working between government affairs. We try to go and hit all the commission meetings and things like that.
Yeah.
And split those things up. But then you move up to the corporate board, and now you're hearing all the meeting minutes, but you've got your corporate board meeting, and then you get to the executive side, and you do the executive meeting first, then you do the corporate meeting after that, and then you've got, it just seems like all of the meetings just sort of double and triple up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about time management. How are you efficiently managing your time? Do you follow like a specific method, technique, or how do you keep yourself organized with all that you have going on, with not only merging your businesses together, but now running a business, serving on the state, serving on the national level, and then as well being a member of the executive team? How do you keep all that organized?
Well, I mean, I can say, time management is always something I'm always, working on, right? Because I think in my mind, I can wake up and run 5 miles. I can go to yoga. I can respond to 20 emails, and I can wash my hair, curl my hair, prep for a meeting and get to the meeting 15 minutes early, right? But that doesn't always happen, So I really, especially as I've gotten older, right, is just be realistic with what, expectations of myself are. I can't do all the things in my mind that I think I can do, and certainly not effectively, right? So, when being on exec is definitely more intense time-wise, but I think you figure it out. I mean, what the schedules are, and you can plan accordingly. And, it's just important to look at your day and look at your week and prep accordingly. Prep your outfits, prep your preparation, prep your speeches, prep your work at the office, right? Prep your time with your family, prep your time with your friends. And you have to, I think, carve out those times, because if you just kind of stay tunnel vision on one thing, whether it's association work, real estate work, just being with friends and family, it's important to, let all those blend, because it shapes who you are, and it helps shape, decisions you make, and the things that you do in your work career and so forth. So, I think I just have tried to, shape out time for all those, and make sure that I'm not overloading or thinking I can do more things than I can. And, because, you want to stay busy to kind of stay fueled, and not be busy to be drained, right? So, so that's the thing I've been focusing on.
Okay. Well, they always say there's no I in team. Certainly that's not cliche. It's quite true. And we figure that out very quickly when we start in these leadership roles, because there's no way that one person can get the things done that we really search out to accomplish. So what's your philosophy regarding compromising your wants for the greater good as a whole?
I think that's something I've always certainly been comfortable with. I always like to hear other people's opinions. I like, that's again, going back to working for Christine. I like to hear somebody else's opinion of me, whether good or bad. I mean, obviously the bad is coming from a place of good, right? So there's always a roundabout about it. And I always like to encourage other people's opinions, like to hear them. And, at the end of the day, this is all about the greater good. I mean, if we don't, this is not what we do. I mean, meetings and traveling and podcasts and all this stuff, it's not, there's something out there so much bigger. There's almost 45,000 members that depend on us. So that's the big picture here, right? So I know that all these things that we do, even though it's, it's a big deal, but it's all for something that's way bigger than us, right? And
right.
We will have these, we'll titles, we'll have these positions, but there's always going to be people behind us doing that too. So we always want to make sure that we're shaping a positive framework for them to move into. So yeah, of course, it's always about the greater good. I've never been an I person, always team, I'm a cheerleader, always had with team sports. So, and I always like to, that collective energy is something that I definitely like, and, definitely know I in team for sure.
Yeah, with 42,000 members and MLS subscribers, they're certainly going to let you know if they feel that there's any kind of I coming out of you.
Yeah, well, no, and I think that's important, right? Because I think that we cover so much ground geographically. There's people that are in our industry that have been in other industries. I mean, there's so many voices out there and perspectives, and
really,
they all bring so much to the table. And and thank God for all of our members. I mean, they're all up there, whether they're selling one property or 50 properties a year. They just got their license. They're contributing to our association, our communities, and making our industry better. So absolutely want to hear what they have to say.
So if you can offer our members a few essential tips to stay motivated, to keep a positive outlook, what kind of advice would you provide them?
Well, I think as far as, obviously I think our industry is taking a little bit of a, turn, just the market I'm talking about, right? I mean, I think it's softened in the last year and a half. I mean, it's been little ups and downs, but you and I have been in the business a while. This is just how it goes. So,
right. Cyclical.
Yeah, it's cyclical, and you have to just be prepared for the good and bad. You're not going to get all the listings. The buyers aren't always going to come through, but there's always positive in everything you do, right? So you just have to look at the next thing. Don't get down on these things that you simply can't control, right? You go out there, you do the best you can, and just focus on the things that you can control. Yourself, get out there, get educated. Get better on your time management skills, and do your follow-up calls, do whatever you can to make your business better, and just don't get bogged down with the negative or beating yourself up too much. Because I also think agents, as being a broker, right? They beat themselves up a lot. Like if they don't get the next deal, or deals fall through, or they're not seeing the same type of production. But again, you just have to wake up every day and have that positive attitude, and that'll get you through any tough times.
Yeah, and I think it's important for people to realize that the market that we're experiencing right now is basically the pre-pandemic market, when interest rates were normal, when we had the buyers and sellers that we had pre-pandemic levels. Those are really the numbers that we're seeing happening in the market right now. I think when we went through the pandemic, there was that crazy overinflation of buyers because of basically free money with those really historically low interest rates. That we haven't seen in our lifetimes.
Probably won't see again.
Yeah, probably won't see again. So I think it's important for people to realize that all of your production levels throughout the pandemic were artificially inflated, and now we're at where we really should be. And you have to go out there, and you've got to work to find the buyers, and you've got to work to find the sellers a little bit harder than you did during the pandemic, because we had people that were moving left, right, and center. It was something that we had never seen before.
Yeah, and that shouldn't define them as an agent. I mean, again, I started in 2004, and it was crazy then, and it was up and down. And again, as agents, you have to always don't beat yourself up too much. I mean, this is a normal market. If you're an agent out there, you're making your calls, you're doing your mailers, you're doing, just even the basic kind of 10 things, you're gonna have business. I mean,
and now's not the time to stop prospecting.
Exactly. You have to do it. I mean, what you're doing now, you're doing for the next quarter and the following quarter, so you always have to. When I started doing real estate, I remember working with two gentlemen that were kind of mentors to me in the first office I was at. But one said, look, I worked in a bank, and I wake up every day at 8:00, go home at 5. Those are my banker hours. And he was the top producing agent in the office. And not because, he was obviously a great agent, but he kept consistent hours. And no matter what the market did, he kept those consistent hours. And the other guy that he was great, he just said, Monica, wake up every day and get dressed like you go to work. You're going to find somebody at the grocery store. You're going to be at the gas station. You're going to be, at the park or wherever, but you're always going to run into opportunities in business. So always be prepared for them. So those are two things that I took with me, and they're basics, and that's all the people I think need, in markets like this.
And don't be a secret agent. Go out there and wear your RPAC major investor pin, and let the person at the grocery store ask you what the pin means, and then you could tell them all that you do for the real estate industry, and hopefully turn them into a customer.
Yeah, my uncle this word I still remember to this day. He said, "Be audacious." Audacious. Just go out there and get it. Don't be worried about anything. It's always a no until it's a yes. So just be audacious. So that's a key word that sticks with me. So if anyone can remember that, I think that'll help push them through as well.
So I know that you've got an office to run, so we're going to let you get back to work. But before we let you go, we always ask everybody one final question, which is for you to tell us. And I think this is going to be a special one because you actually grew up in Fort Lauderdale.
I did.
So you're native.
Yeah.
Tell us about a little Florida gem. What is something that you absolutely love about growing up in Fort Lauderdale?
Well, yeah, my parents both went to Northeast High School. I went to the same elementary, middle school, and high school as my parents were high school sweethearts.
Oh, really?
So both my brothers and I, and my parents went to Northeast High School in Oakland Park. So
cool.
It's really it's been a great experience growing up in Fort Lauderdale. And there are a lot of hidden gems, but I would say, well, two that really near and dear to my heart. The first is Pirates Republic Bar. Right on the New River.
Yep.
If anyone that is watching, grew up in Fort Lauderdale, it's the old Tell Charlie's restaurant, which is right on the New River, right across from the New River Inn, which dates back to 1905. Chris, I mean, we talk about history. I'm a history buffer.
Yep.
I like to think I am. I love Fort Lauderdale history, especially, definitely downtown, because that's basically where all started. But the Pirate Republic Bar, it's where I met my husband. So that's
really?
something that's near and dear.
I never knew that.
Yeah. We actually
very cool.
we met upstairs one night at my friend's birthday party. We actually had our rehearsal dinner for a wedding there too. So and then
did he win you over the moment you met him?
Yeah, I mean, you could.
He won me over.
I know he has that charm, and that doesn't normally happen. But and then the second, which I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people have visited the last couple of years, is the Bonnet House where my husband and I got married, and I think it's a hidden gem because it became a historical site. I think in 2012, so that's when people really started visiting it. It started opening.
Was it that recent?
Yeah, because the woman that owned it, it was not given to her. It was given to her husband, who passed away as a wedding gift from Hugh Taylor Birch, who from Birch State Park. It was a wedding gift back in the early 1900s. Stayed in the family. So I think it became a historical site in 1985. She got to stay there until 1995. And then it kind of went through the historic kind of, setting it up as historic for I think Florida. It became a national historical
all the preservation societies.
Yeah.
On it.
So it's a hidden gem because even when I was growing up, we didn't have field trips there. No one, we always would walk by and be like, that's the place that has the monkeys. And, and no one really know because it's 35 acres and it's hidden. It's on A1A and Sunrise, but it's a hidden gem because it's, they do tours there. They have the Orchid Festival in April, which I always go to. I love it. So if anyone has the opportunity to visit, I would definitely recommend it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you for being here. And congratulations on your new appointment. I hope you have a happy new year, and we'll see you at the installation.
Yeah, I'll see you around town too.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you right back here next week on RWorld Talk.